Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Naquan, watching for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Hamashiach, Wamalak, Yahawashi. And this is coming from a brother who asked me, how do you meditate? All right, brother hit me up and asked that question via social media. So I'll just go through the precepts on meditation, what meditation is, what are you supposed to meditate on, and your thoughts that you should be having. All right. I did a video like this maybe a year ago, some change. It's on the main channel, but I figure I'll refresh the topic through the spirit. So let's go first starting with Romans chapter 8 and 5. All right, Romans chapter 8 and 5. It says, "For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit." So if you're a carnal person and you all about the flesh, you constantly thinking about how to make your flesh feel good. That's what, rather it's sex, rather you smoke weed, rather it's it could be anything, any vice to have your flesh feel good. All right. That's what it means. If you after the flesh, you mind the things of the flesh. That's why people watch pornography all the time. You got orgies and prostitutes and endless weed and a lot of all these liquor stores set up and weed dispensaries set up. These are all things to help the flesh please you or have you please the flesh. America is a very sensual society where they advocate nothing but sex and things that make you feel good. All right, they totally neglect the spirit and neglect the spirit of the Most High, and they completely have you go please the flesh. All right, it says, "For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit." You have to be one of the people that mind the things of the spirit. When you think throughout the day and you meditate, and meditation is simply relaxing and focusing your mind on the precepts and the laws of the Most High and the statutes and the ordinances and examining yourself according to the law, right? Now, people talk about, meditation like the East Indians came up with it, or that's a Buddhist type of philosophy, or, or you're an ancient Chinese monk. No, everything came from us. Remember in Jeremiah, let's get this real quick. Jeremiah 51. Everything came from the Israelites, right? And they meditate on folly, right? They have vows of silence. They light themselves on fire. They're trying to get to some place called Nirvana. Where is that in the Bible? Right? Where is supreme enlightenment and Nirvana in the Bible? All right, so they don't know what's going on. Let me get this real quick. Jeremiah chapter 51 and 19. "The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name." So the portion of Jacob is not like them. The Israelites, it's for a fact that we're not like these Edomites. We're not like the Ishmaelites. We definitely not like the Moabites. We're not like any other nation from a physical, mental to a spiritual level, right? The point I want is, it says he is the former of all things, meaning everything came from us. All right, we're the beginning. All right, the sons of God. All right, so even the concept of meditation, they call it a so-called Eastern philosophy, but we're a people from the East. That's why in 2nd Ezra, the first chapter, it tells you, "Behold the people that cometh from the East." So when you meditate, you don't meditate on things of the flesh. Sit there and think about, man, I can't wait to make myself feel good, or I wonder who I'm gonna have sex with, and then this blunt gonna make me feel good. And you all day you thinking about drinking, you thinking about masturbation and all types of wicked thoughts you shouldn't be thinking of. How to have sex with this person or commit adultery, all type or anything, man. That make people get off on stealing. People get off on everything, man. Right? So you should be thinking about the laws and the statutes and the commandments and the ordinances of the Most High. All right, let's go to the book of let's read that one more time in Romans, because that's heavy. All right. There's another verse after that, Romans, the 8th chapter. So you got to ask yourself, am I really thinking about the proper thing, right? Am I thinking about what's pleasing to the Most High, or do I think about folly all day? Do I think about vanity? Do I think about carnal things? Romans 8 and 5 again, "For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace." So if you're a carnal person and you constantly thinking about the flesh, right? Then that's the way of death, right? You thinking about things that make you feel good, to make other people flesh feel good. Your job is to uplift your people in the spirit and have their spirit uplifted and according to the Most High. And Yahawah Bahasham, Yahawashi. All right. To be spiritually minded is life and peace, because as you meditate on the laws and the commandments, that brings to you the kingdom, right? That brings wisdom, right? That's how you get good success with the Most High. We're going to bring that in Joshua 1 and 8. All right. Everything goes back to meditation. Remember, Yahawashi said, for out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, right? Adulteries, fornications, thefts, etc., etc. He says, these are they which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands defileth not a man. So you actually defile, you can eat clean foods all day, but the moment you begin to think about wicked thoughts and you meditate on that, you already defiled. You're already going off. All right. So it says, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. All right. Because the carnal mind is enmity against God. Right? For it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can it be. So if you're a carnal person and you meet people like that, man, right? You're old, maybe you was in a world like that, or you met your friends, or you may have family that's always talking about pleasing the flesh, right? Like I said, it can be from a small level, smoking cigarettes, it could be smoking weed, it could be anything. All right. You always meet people talking about the flesh. Man, you talk to people of the world, they constantly talking about the lust of the eyes and things that's going to make them feel good. When have you met overheard a conversation or have met people in the world and they talking about, man, I got to get my spirit right. Right? Oh man, I got to please the Most High. I got to be spiritually minded. I got to meditate on the laws and commandments. Nobody says that. All right. So it says in verse 8, Romans 8 and 8. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please God. All right, now you have it. You're supposed to please the Most High by being spiritually minded. Let's go to the Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus chapter 16 and 23. Right? Ecclesiasticus chapter 16 and 23. So I want to touch on a point on which you should not be thinking on throughout the day. All right? Sirach chapter 16 and 23. It says, he that wanteth understanding will think upon vain things, and a foolish man erring imagineth follies. Right? My son, hearken unto me and learn knowledge, and mark my words with thy heart. Let's break that down. Sirach 16:23. He that wanteth understanding, meaning you're lacking understanding. Don't mean you want, meaning you're trying to get. Wanting, sometimes in the Bible, you read that it means you're lacking or you're deprived of it. So he that wanteth understanding will think upon vain things. And sometimes you may do that throughout the day, man. I wonder how I feel if I could do this, man. I wonder, I know she got a man, but I just want to, you just think about wicked thoughts. You may have just random thoughts popping in your mind. All right, you gotta scourge your thoughts. We'll bring that out in Sirach 23. All right, so if you're a foolish man, you're constantly gonna be thinking about vain things. And it says what? And a foolish man erring, meaning you making a huge mistake. When you're in error, that leads into death and sin. All right, a foolish man erring imagineth follies. Brothers sit there and daydream and fantasize about sin and the next sin that they're going to commit, and they put themselves in certain scenarios in their mind, and they'll play out the scenario in their mind that sin and that wicked thought. That's you going off and imagining follies, and now you are defiled. All right, let's go to Proverbs 24 and 9. And that's why Sirach, he said after that, he said, mark my words with your heart and learn knowledge. Because you're supposed to take note of these words that we're bringing out, put them in your mind, and meditate on that. Right? When you think about wicked thoughts, these precepts should come to your mind. Romans 8 and 4. Right? Sirach chapter 16, 23, Proverbs 24 and 9, etc. These precepts is what you should be thinking about when you find your mind going off and going astray into things that's not profitable. All right, Proverbs chapter 24 and 9. Book of Proverbs. Let's see what King Solomon said about it. Proverbs chapter 24 and 9. The thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men. So if you're thinking about folly and foolishness, you're already in sin. You can have your fringes on, your beard could be all greased up. The woman, your hair wrap could be all tied to the top of the head. You can have your damn diet. You got your food already. You're keeping the Sabbath perfectly. Whatever. You got 100% garments, right? But if you're thinking about foolishness, you're going off. You're in sin, right? What did the Lord say in Romans chapter 6 and 23? For the wages of sin is death. So, you may think that you're keeping all of the commandments, but you think that your mind is some secret place where you can hide from the Lord. And no, the Lord knows everything about you, man. Right? In the book of Second Esdras to tell you that, right? A lot of people think that, man. A lot of people think, man, my mind is it's just me. It's my secret place. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows. The Lord not really. You forget that the Lord has everything. There's actual angels that read your mind and they record your sins and they bring it back to the Most High. And there's angels around you right now. All right. Second Esdras chapter 16 and 62. It says, yea, and the spirit of Almighty God, which made all things, and searcheth out all hidden things and the secrets of the earth. Surely he knoweth your inventions. Hey, Esdras said, surely, meaning without a doubt, right? Obvious. Surely he knoweth your inventions and what ye think in your hearts, even them that sin and will hide their sin. So the Lord knows what you're thinking in your mind. He sent angels out here, which are known as the eyes of the Lord, right? In the book of Tobit, to tell you that the angels record everything. Tobit, the 12th chapter. Raphael told Tobit, I recorded everything that you did. All of your sins are weighed in the balance, right? So the Lord knows your thoughts and what you think in your heart, even them that sin and will hide their sin. Let's read on. Verse 64. Therefore hath the Lord exactly searched out all your works, and he will put you all to shame. You wondering like, damn, why this happened to me? Damn, this, because you was probably thought you was keeping the commandments. You thought you was doing the right thing, but you wasn't meditating on the laws and commandments. You was thinking about folly and sin, right? And trying to hide it. And I'm just think about, no, right? You can't go off like that. Your mind should be always occupied in the laws, occupied in the wisdom of the Most High. Right? Thinking about how to please the Lord. Thinking about me as a man, I think about the next breakdown I'm gonna do, next video I'm gonna do, right? How to help build up the brothers, right? How to teach the word properly, writing lessons down, right? You find your mind, I find my mind going astray. And the Lord said in the book of see if I can get this real quick. In Proverbs, I believe it's 31. Here it is, Proverbs chapter 30 and 32. Right? Proverbs 30 and 32. If thou hast done foolishly in lifting up thyself, or if thou hast thought evil, lay thine hand upon thy mouth. So really, if you're thinking evil, don't even speak on it. Some brothers actually, they'll look, you know what I'm saying? They'll think something. If I have a wicked thought instinct, I snap my fingers for some reason, and it totally helps me stop thinking about what I was thinking about. Every brother or sister have their own different way on how to, get out of that mind. Right? Because sometimes my mind might go off, right? I'm a man, right? My mind will go astray, and I snap my fingers, and I come right back into reality and be like, oh, you're going off, all right? And when you think foolishness, which is a sin, you got to repent for that. You got to ask Yahawah in the name of his son Yahawashi to forgive you for thinking folly, all right? A lot of people forget to repent from that, all right? So the Lord knows all of your thoughts, even in the book of Sirach. Let's go to Sirach 23, all right? Ecclesiasticus, it's like it, chapter 23, and I believe it's 19. Right? Ecclesiasticus chapter. Actually, I'm going to start at 23 and 17. So, right, 23 and 17. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. He will not leave off till he die. Meaning, a whoremonger, he don't care what type of woman he dealing with. Rather, she obese, a midget, she got 3 legs. The Lord, he don't care. This man don't give a damn if she's shaped like a muffin, if she round and mound. You know what I'm saying? The Lord, she got an extra long neck. He don't care. She got 1 tooth. This man don't care. All bread is sweet to a whoremonger. You know brothers like that. Brothers that just talk about and just have sex with anything. All right, but here, let's get to the point. Verse 18, a man that breaketh wedlock, saying, meaning he's about to commit adultery. He's about to break up a wedding or a marriage between a man and a woman. A man that breaketh wedlock, saying thus in his heart, this is what he's saying in his mind. Who seeth me? I am compassed about with darkness, the walls cover me, and nobody seeth me. What need I to fear? The Most High will not remember my sins. And that's what brothers say, man. I can do this. I got this. Because brothers plotting and they planning, sisters plotting and planning on how to break the wedlock, or everybody, they're thinking about it. But what did the Lord say? Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord, which are the angels, are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts. So the Most High is recording everything that you think about. Brothers sitting there premeditating murder, premeditating on how to plot against a brother, or how to cause strife or sow discord. The Lord is recording that, right? So your thoughts of wickedness and vanity is all a sin. All right. Let's go to the book of Matthew, because I talked about defiling you, or defiling your vessel. That's in Matthew chapter 15 and 17, right? Matthew chapter 15 and 17. It says, do not ye understand that whatsoever entereth in at the mouth goeth into the belly and is cast into the drought, meaning you eat things digested, goes into the toilet, right? Verse 18. But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile a man. So what defiles you are the things that you say that come out of your mind, right? Let's see what else Yahawashi said about it. Matthew 15 and 19. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders. You got certain brothers that think about murder, right? You see that in the world, man. I know he get off at 6 o'clock. Ain't nobody going to be home. They want to follow him, and they'll take that man out the way, right? Hating your brother's murder, right? Certain brothers think, man, I really hate this nigga. I hate this nigga. I can't stand him. You backbiting and gossiping, and you just thinking about how to overthrow him. That defiles you. You're in sin. It says murders, adulteries, brothers and sisters think about, how do I commit adultery? I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna lie like this, and I'm gonna do this. Come up with all these plans. That defiles you. You're in big sin. Fornications, right, which is another form of sexual immorality, rather as bestiality, homosexuality, incest, right? Thefts, brothers thinking about thefts, right? False witness blasphemies, right? We know what a false witness is. You raise a false report and you lie about a certain situation to get somebody hemmed up. And blasphemy, meaning you just completely contrary to the laws and to the words of the Bible. Verse 20. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashed hands defileth not a man. So you already defiled, all right? You can be clean on the outside, like Yahawashi called, or Paul called Annas. I believe he called Annas the high priest. He called him thou whited wall. Or he called him a whited wall, meaning what? He was all clean on the outside, but he was wicked on the inside. Yahawashi called the Pharisees that, right? Let's see if I can get that real quick in Matthew. Because you meet brothers and sisters, they all clean on the outside, got the beard, or sister got the nice dress and looking good, but they mind not working the right way. Right? They're not thinking about the laws and the commandments or meditating on how to please the Most High. All right, Matthew 23 and 28. Man, I'm going to start at 23 and 26. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. You can be clean all on the outside, but you got to clean the inside. You got to mortify your thoughts. You got to tame your mind, right? You do that by a lot of praying. You're praying that the Most High said discipline over your thoughts. That's the prayer in Sirach, the 23rd chapter. The first verse, I believe, down to the 7th verse, right? I believe we could go into that. You got to pray the Most High discipline your thoughts. Remove far from you thoughts that are without understanding, right? Pray the Lord keep your mind occupied in the laws and commandments and the wisdom of the Bible. Pray he don't give you over to vain thoughts, right? That's part of having wisdom, and that goes into meditation. All right, verse 27, Matthew chapter 23 and 27. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness. Even so, ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Because the Pharisees, they was beautiful, man. They was decked out. They had the white garments on. They had the law strapped to their mind. They had the thing in the forehead, All right, the frontlets, they had the long fringes, right? They was beautiful, man. Everybody looked at the Pharisees and they were greeted by rabbi and they would give alms and everybody knew them, right? But what? They was really wicked on the inside, right? Coming up with traditions of men, coming against Yahawashi, not understanding the words of the Lord, hypocrites, not keeping the law, all right, but telling people to keep the law. Their whole thought process and how their mind operated was nothing but carnal. They were carnal men. They couldn't understand Yahawashi, which is the spirit, all right, which came as a quickening spirit. All right, now let's go to Psalms 1 and 1. All right, we dealt with the thoughts. Actually, before we do that, let's go to Sirach 23. I promise. Well, I didn't promise, but I said we were going to that. All right, Sirach chapter 23 and 1. Right, this is a prayer to have your mind be disciplined. Right, because your mind may go astray, like any brothers and sisters' mind may go astray. Sirach chapter 23 and 1. O Lord, Father and Governor of all my whole life, lead me not to their counsels and let me not fall by them. This is what Sirach said, right? A wise man. Who will set scourges over my thoughts and the discipline of wisdom over mine heart, that they spare me not for mine ignorances and that pass not by my sins? So he's asking a question. He's really praying to the Most High that the Lord set scourges over his thoughts. Now, a scourge is a weapon for discipline, right? When you whip somebody and beat them down. What he's doing is he's praying that the Most High beat out them foolish thoughts and beat out them wicked thoughts and replace it with the wisdom, right? And you should be throwing up this prayer as often as you can, right? Verse 3. Lest, he said, if you don't do that, he said, lest my ignorances increase and my sins abound to my destruction, and I fall before mine adversaries, and mine enemy rejoice over me, whose hope is far from thy mercy. O Lord, Father and God of my life, give me not a proud look, but turn away from thy servants always a haughty mind. Or you got to throw up that prayer too, because you'll find yourself getting proud and being rebellious and doing what your own ego and what you want to do. No. All right. Verse 5. Turn away from me vain hopes. Jake, you be having vain hopes, man. I'll walk outside. I hope $10 million just fall out the sky. Man, I hope just walk outside and 100 women just look. You just got vanity. Right? You're just thinking about vanity, things that's unprofitable. Right? It says, turn away from me vain hopes and concupiscence. Concupiscence are wicked sexual thoughts, right? Or that goes into lust, which goes ultimately into covetousness, which breaks even one of the 10 commandments, right? And thou shalt hold him up that is desirous always to serve thee. Let not the greediness of the belly, nor a lust of the flesh take hold of me, and give not over me thy servant into an imputed mind, right? That's a good prayer to throw up. Even goes to the lust of the flesh, right? And you're praying that the Most High keep you on the right path, basically don't give you over to a reprobate mind, all right? That's a good prayer to throw up, to meditate, or to have your thoughts be pleasing to the Most High. All right, let's go to the book of Psalms. I'll add some precepts. Psalms 1 and 1. All right. Psalms chapter 1 and 1. Let's see what King David said through the Spirit. It says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. Meaning, another way to be blessed, we know it says, blessed is he that readeth. Blessed is he that hear the words of this book. Another way to become blessed is you don't deal with people that's contrary to the Bible, right? You may find yourself, going through certain elements, or now you fighting a lot of demons, or look, because you standeth amongst sinners, right? The Lord said, blessed is he that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, right? But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law, meaning his Bible, doth he meditate day and night, right? So you have to be one of these men, right? Or if you're a woman watching the video, be one of these women that meditate in the law, right? Day and night. Even the actual Torah, right? Am I keeping a command? Am I keeping this commandment to the best of my ability? Let me go back and read this. Okay, am I really doing this to the best of my ability? Am I keeping this commandment? Am I doing this? That's how you meditate in the law, in the Bible, day and night. All right. You may have to go somewhere secluded. Like we're going to how Isaac in Genesis chapter 24, he went out to the field to meditate in the evening time, to be amongst the nature and the works of the Most High. You may have to go secluded. You may have a bunch of people, look, I got to leave. I got to go somewhere. A lot of people, they meditate in the bathroom. They meditate in the shower. There are certain places where people just get their thoughts together, right? Before you go to bed, you should be meditating. Okay, remember this precept, or I got to make sure I'm keeping this commandment, or I can do this better to please the Lord. That's what it means to meditate. It's not them damn Buddhists where they sit there and they chant and they're like, and they sitting down doing yoga. That's not what the Bible's talking about. It's not in there. There's no account of Yahawashi doing that. There's no account of King David sitting crisscross applesauce on a mat doing what's them damn yoga poses, right? Stretching to the sun and all of that. That's going off. Right? That form of meditation, right? Invite spirits inside of you, man. Like you're enchanting, you calling on other spirits to enter into you. But if you meditate in the law, that brings life. We read that in Romans 8th chapter. To be spiritually minded is what? Life and peace. Peace between you and the Most High. Peace between your flesh and your spirit that war against each other, right? Peace against you and your other people that you deal with, right? Because you know how to conduct yourself. Verse 2 again, Psalms 1 and 2. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. So if you're a man that meditates in the Bible, you'll have so much spiritual success with the Lord, you won't even know what to do, right? Why? Because you following the blueprint. The Lord didn't tell you what not. The Lord, he didn't make it hard, right? He didn't make it hard on how to please him or what. Look, even in the world, they call it basic instructions before leaving earth. This is a straight up instruction on how to get good success with the Lord, right? How to be prosperous. You like a tree planted by rivers of living water. I mean, you constantly going to be bringing forth righteous fruit and having good works that are going to be pleasing to the Most High. All right. You read about the contrary in Matthew chapter 21, where Yahawashi went up to that fig tree and cursed it because he found no fruit thereon. He said, let no fruit grow on thee henceforth forever. And immediately the fig tree withered away. Right? So you don't want to be that tree where the Lord could just come out and look at you and boom. Right? You meditating on wickedness and thoughts, and finally the Lord come in, give me back my spirit. Right? Because you don't know the Lord, man, the Songs of Solomon tell you how the Lord come down and check out the children of men. All right. And you don't want to tell you about him going into his garden to see if the vine flourished. That's in the book of Songs of Solomon. So the Lord is looking at you, right? And seeing if you flourishing. You want to be that tree planted by rivers of water by meditating in the law day and night. Joshua 1 and 8. Right? The book of Joshua, chapter 1 and verse 8. It's another beautiful precept. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. All right, so when it says this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, and we know, for people that don't know, it's not talking about put the Bible in your mouth. You got a lot of brothers thinking that. You got a lot of brothers really, trying to figure out how to make that happen. Right? That's not what it's talking about. When it says this book shall not depart out of thy mouth, it means you should constantly be speaking the words of the Bible, the laws and the commandments and the different ordinances of the Bible and doing it. All right. And the Lord says, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night. Your Lord didn't say, I'm going to just be an Israelite during the daytime, and at nighttime, I'm going to be a nigga, right? Or at nighttime, I'm going to be a righteous person. During the daytime, I'm going to be wicked. No, you're supposed to be meditating in the Bible day and night. Then thou shalt make the way prosperous. And that's on every level, right? Ultimately, you should be wanting it on a spiritual level. Or you want the Most High to be dealing with you. Or you want to be in the spirit and, feeling like you've been doing the right works to the Most High, that you on one accord, right? That you walking in that right path, that straight and narrow gate, right? That's how you become pleasing with the Lord, by meditating in the law day and night. And that's how you have good success. Good success leads to what? To the kingdom. Sirach chapter 6 and 36 out of the Apocrypha. All right. All of our righteous forefathers spoke about meditation. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6 and 36. If thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. Let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord, and meditate continually in his commandments. He shall establish thine heart and give thee wisdom at thine own desire. That's heavy, man. So let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord and meditate continually in his commandments, right? A lot of people don't know the commandments. You just know about 3 commandments, 4, right? A man, there's a commandment that you have to do the work, right? You got to teach. You got to go out in the highways and byways. That's a commandment. Of course, you got the dietary law, right? You got the high holy days, right? How to treat your wife, right? Those are all commandments. The woman, you got commandments. Look, how to reverence your husband. Make sure your head is covered. Make sure you got your dress on, right? Children, you got commandments, right? To honor your father and your mother, right? There's commandments all throughout the Bible, right? And the Lord said, meditate continually in those commandments. And what's the reward if you do that? He shall establish thine heart. What does it mean, establish your heart? I mean, the Lord will work with your mind and give you more wisdom, give you more knowledge, and increase your understanding. Show you things you never seen before. You may be a person that's struggling with bad thoughts or wicked thoughts. The Lord will establish your heart, right? And he will give you wisdom at your own desire. When you want wisdom, here, there you go. Why? Because you've been meditating in it. All right. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 14 and 20. Ecclesiasticus chapter 14 and verse 20. Blessed, oh, here we go again, blessed. Keep reading about blessed. Blessed is the man that doth meditate good things in wisdom, and that reasoneth of holy things by his understanding. He that considereth her ways in his heart shall also have understanding in her secrets. So you're blessed if you meditate good things in wisdom, right? Not talking about, what food you want to eat next, or, I wonder if this man is going to not be at home so I can rob him, or, how do I fit this Bible in my mouth? When it talks about meditating good things in wisdom, it's talking about the commandments, the laws, right? The precepts, right? Prophecy. That goes into meditating good things in wisdom. And when it says reasoning things by holy Slakia, it says, and that reasoneth of holy things by his understanding, means you're discerning between good and evil through the understanding of the law that you meditated in. All right. Now let's go to the book of Psalm chapter 119 and 15. All right. Psalm chapter 119, and I believe it's verse 15. Come on, that's what I want. Psalm chapter 119 and 15. I will meditate in thy precepts and have respect unto thy ways. I will delight myself in thy statutes. I will not forget thy word. Right? So how you going to willfully go off if you've been meditating in the laws and the commandments all day? And how can you? When you constantly thinking about doing the work of the Most High, you understand your flesh is going to compel you to maybe, go off or do something. But the best way to fight it, and the secret and the key, the Lord gives you the key, which is meditation and the precepts, different precepts, right? Like, 1 Corinthians 9 and 16, right? Warn to me if I preach not the gospel, right? When all hell break loose, the Lord said in Matthew, when they say low here and low there, got to meditate on that. You might forget. Somebody going to be like, oh, I seen the Lord over here. You're going to go over there, right? And you're going to be caught up and destroyed because you wasn't meditating. You forgot about that precept, right? You're going to get caught up. So there's a lot of things that go into meditation, all right? Let's go into the book of, I got a few more. Genesis. I talked about Isaac meditating in the field, right? Genesis chapter 24 and I believe it's verse 63. Genesis chapter 24 and 63. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field at the eventide. It's like at the eventide, and he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. So Isaac went out in the field to meditate. Right? We know it's the wintertime, but there's nothing wrong with going out in the field. Right? Some brothers, they like to be amongst nature. right? There may be a park. They may like to see the birds or the wind going through the leaves of the tree, or be by rivers of water and watch the water go by, and they'll just sit and meditate in the works of the Lord. Hey, remember the Lord said in the book of Psalms, chapter 46 and 10, be still and know that I am God, right? He said, I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth, paraphrasing. So sometimes you got to be still. You can't meditate and do this. And you sitting here on your phone all day, but I'm meditating the law and you on the phone. No, all right? You got to put your phone down, turn your phone off, turn the TV off, cut off notifications, right? Isolate yourself, meditate on the law. Make sure you're doing things pleasing to the Lord, right? Like I said, you may have to go amongst nature, go sit in your car, do what you got to do to isolate yourself. Isaac went out to meditate in the field at eventime to be amongst the nature and the works of the Most High, all right? And let's go to the book of what I want to go next. Sirach 39 and 1, all right? Sirach chapter 39 and verse 1 out of the Apocrypha. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies. Now, if you have a 1611 Bible, they give you a summary of the chapter. Now, the summary of Sirach 39, it tells you, before you read the chapter, it says, a description of him that is truly wise. And you got to take that to heart because that's real. A wise man or a man that's truly wise, it tells you what he's going to be doing. Not going to be sitting around smoking a damn blunt, meditating on sin and folly and sex all the time and the flesh, right? He's going to be meditating in the law. And not only that, this man, he's going to be occupied in the prophecies, right? He's going to be occupied on the judgment of the Lord and what the Most High is going to bring forth on the earth, and then warning his people about the revelations and the prophecies that the Lord gave him through the Spirit and through the book that's written, all right? And it says he will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient too. So you're going to be going through the different dark sayings, the parables. You're going to be man, I wonder, I read that parable. What does that mean? You sitting there meditating, trying to break it down, and the Spirit come and sup with you and give you the understanding. That's how you gain wisdom, by meditation in the Bible. All right, the Lord know your thoughts. You think the Lord going to come down and increase your wisdom when you constantly meditating on things contrary to the Bible? Or is he going to give his wisdom to somebody whose mind is occupied in his wisdom? The Lord got everything recorded around you. All right. Let's go to the book of 1 Timothy chapter 4 and 12. I got this written down. 1 Timothy chapter 4 and 12. All right, let's get this. I got about two more. 1 Timothy chapter 4 and 12. Let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, and purity. So Timothy was a young guy. So Paul wrote this letter to him, said, don't let no man get on you because you're young. That's what it means. Let no man despise thy youth. You may have brothers that's young in the truth, and people try and get on you because you're young. But he said what? But be thou an example of the believers, right? So you have to be an example, right? So people could look at you and be like, oh, okay, that's that brother living righteous, or that sister righteous. They're doing the work of the Most High. They're not caught up in the crowd. What do they do, right? They'll come and ask you, well, what's your religion, right? Or what do you follow? You tell them, oh, I'm an Israelite, and here the commandments. You break it down. So now somebody came into the truth, right? Because you were being an example, all right? In word, right? Meaning things you say out of your mouth, which ultimately starts from your thoughts. In conversation, right? In charity, in spirit, in faith and purity. Verse 13, till I come, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. And that's what Paul told Timothy till he came up and linked up with him again. But that's really the Lord talking to you as well. Till the Lord come back, give attendance to reading. You should be reading, right? All Israelites should be reading the Bible, right? It says, and not, you don't do a verse a day that you got on your phone. You wake up in the morning, got the verse of the day, John 3:16. Okay, God love everybody. And then, no, all right? You don't do that, all right? You read constantly. You may have to read 2 chapters, 7 chapters, I won't even say 2 chapters, 7 chapters or more. All right. Till I come, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, meaning building up your brothers, like this video, to doctrine. Neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by prophecy with the laying on the hands by the presbytery. So you have a gift inside you that the Lord gave you. Maybe you're a brother that's good breaking down the word. Maybe you're a sister that's good sewing or whatever. Everybody has a gift. The Lord said, neglect not the gift that is in thee. Why would you neglect the gift that the Most High gave you? You didn't even do that in the world. When somebody gave you something, you said, oh, that's cool. And you accepted it, right? Even if you had to fake it, right? How you going to neglect the gift that the Lord gave you? He gave you the knowledge. He gave you the wisdom. You neglect it when you meditate in sin and folly, and you don't keep the commandments. All right. Verse 15. Meditate upon these things. Give thyself wholly to them, that thy profiting may appear to all. So you're supposed to meditate on everything I just broke down, right? Reading, make sure you're reading, make sure you're exhorting your brothers, make sure you're not neglecting the gift that is in thee, make sure you're an example in word, conversation, deed, make sure you're being perfect. As a woman, everything you got to do, and as a man, everything the Lord requires of you, you got to meditate in those things. He said, give yourself wholly unto them, right? Let's go to the book of Romans 1:25. All right. Romans chapter 1:25. It says, who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshiped and served the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. So certain people, they took the Most High as the incorruptible living God, and they turned him into a lie, and they turned him into a damn idol, like a rock or a stone. That's what it means. They changed the truth of God into a lie. They have turned the truth into idolatry and sin. All right. Verse 26. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections, and even their women. Oh, Slocky, that's not even where I want to start. Slocky, bear with me. I'm going to jump up a couple of verses. Romans 1:20. I'm going to start at 20. All right, Romans 1:20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. So people don't have an excuse not to believe in God, because you should be able to believe in the Most High based off of the things that you see. Right? Who controls the sun and the moon that go in a perfect cycle? Your body heals itself. Right? You have involuntary muscles. You blink, your heart beat. You should be like, well, damn, well, who's doing this? The Lord did that. That's why he said you have no excuse. Right? Everything goes in a proper order. Everything goes in cycles. The water go in a cycle. Your spirit go in a cycle. Seeds and plants and sex and the so-called cycle of life, and everything's perfectly put in place and in order. Who did that? Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. That's what it means. The invisible things up from the creation of the world are clearly seen. Right? Being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so they are without excuse. Because you got people say, I don't believe in God. Or you ask them why, because I don't. Look, just look around you. All right. Verse 21. Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. So when people knew about the Lord, they said, look, I know about the Most High, but I'm not going to glorify him the way I want that he wants me to. I'm going to glorify him, and I'm going to turn him into my phone. Now my phone is my God. Or I'm going to turn him into a statue. Now I'm going to worship that statue. Or I'm going to turn him into a bottle of damn water, right? Whatever idol that you set up. I'm going to jump to 24. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. So when you start to think about sin and the lust of your mind, the Lord is going to give you over unto that. Are you constantly thinking about sin and concupiscence? Here, go ahead and commit that sin and get this judgment. Are you thinking about murder? You thinking about plotting? Oh yeah, you're going to do it, right? Lord put that spirit on you, and now you go commit that murder because you had that lust in your mind, and the Lord gave you over unto that. Now you got sin. Now you got death. So you got to make sure you're not thinking about sin and wickedness, because the Lord could give you over into that, right? And that's how reprobate minds come in. That's how willful sin comes in. All right. So Israel, meditate on the laws and the commandments, on the precepts, the statutes, the ordinances, and then your mind will be established like it tells in Sirach 6. All right. This is very important, Brother Naquan. watching for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, giving, of course, all honor and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham Hamashiach Wamalak Yahawashi, La'alanawa Yahawah, Bahasham Hamashiach Wamalak Yahawashi, La'alanawa Kaya, Lasham Katan Kabad. Shalom.